Welcome to Undercurrents of Romance, the show that celebrates every subgenre of romantic fiction. In each episode, I peel back the layers of your favorite love stories and chat with the talented authors who bring them to life. I'm your host, Tracey Devlyn. Now, let's dive in with today's guest. Hello, Romantics. I'm here with debut author Cynthia Timoti to talk about her new romantic comedy, Salty, Spiced, and a Little Bit Nice. Welcome to the show, Cynthia.
Thank you so much for having me, Tracy. It's so
Oh,
exciting to be here.
my pleasure. This was such a fun, great read. I really enjoyed, as we were talking a little bit about before I hit the record button. It was so interesting learning about the Chinese Indonesian culture and just it was just a great, great read. So, congratulations on this being
Thank
your
you.
debut published novel because it reads like a person who's been doing it for years.
Oh,
But
thank you so
since
much.
since this is your debut, we all know that there are so many firsts that come with handing in, trying to get an agent, trying to get an editor, and all of these types of things, and then getting your first edits, and then seeing your cover for the first time. Which one of those firsts did you enjoy the most?
Oh, everything because it's all new to me. But I
Yeah.
guess hearing for the first time that the book sold, that is going to be published, that I'm going to be a published author, that's the best. That's the best feeling because
Yeah.
it's a dream that finally came true.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, no, yeah, getting the call as we call it in the business, right? That's just I remember exactly where I was and who I was with when I got mine, and it was many years ago. So it'll be something
Yeah.
that'll stay with you forever. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, why don't you
Yeah.
get us started and just tell us a little bit about yourself and your writing journey?
Okay, sure. So, I've always loved reading and books and stories ever since I was a child. But I guess being an author was not something that I used to consider seriously. Um, in my family, it's not considered as a serious profession, I guess. But one day, a while back, I was reading a book that I had really high expectations for, and it fell a bit flat, and I
Mm,
was really disappointed, I remember. So I thought maybe I could try my hand in writing a story that I would enjoy.
mm,
And that, snowballed into falling in love with writing. And then I thought maybe this could be something that other people might enjoy as well.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's how it started. Like I told you before we started recording, I've had a few practice books, I guess, that I wrote before this debut. So it's been quite a long time to get here. And this book is about the main character is called Ellie, and she's fed up with living with her controlling family, and so after a failed proposal that was quite humiliating, that was viral, she ran across to the other side of the country to escape her family and to chase her dreams of opening a bakery. And then that's where she met her longtime crush, who can only help her with, that she ran into a few challenges when she wanted to start a bakery. So he was the only person that could help her out.
Yeah, the all of the things that you put her through um once she got to the name of the town is Port something. It's the name of
Benedict.
the town. Thank you, Benedict. Once she got to Port Benedict, you just kept upping the stakes and upping the stakes and upping the stakes for her, and that was just so masterful. And I felt so bad for her, and all of a sudden I just like, oh my gosh, how much more of this is she going to take? So, really great job on, amping up the conflict in this
Thank
for
you.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it was I read somewhere, you know, always give your characters a lot of I'm rephrasing, but always put
Yeah.
your characters in a terrible situation. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to do, I guess.
You learned the lesson well. That's
Yeah.
poor Ellie. Yeah, you had mentioned about or we were talked about this a little bit beforehand too, is that she has controlling parents, and it's a Chinese Indonesian family, and I was gonna I was comparing a little bit to another interview I did recently with Nana Malone, who I learned from her that there's a lot of pressure put on firstborn daughters in the Ghanaian society. And you revealed something very similar to that with your Chinese Indonesian family, but I sense that the pressure might be a little bit more equally distributed among the children, and it's not just firstborn daughter. Although there was this tension between Ellie and her mother, which, there's other reasons that we can talk about a little bit later about that. But can you talk a little bit about that dynamic in the Chinese Indonesian culture?
Um, I so I guess Chinese, Indonesian, we are all migrants in Indonesia. So there's and as with a lot of Chinese culture, there's always pressure for the kids to do well. There's a not a joke, but there's a saying that if you are not a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or an accountant, then you haven't made it. So I guess yeah, so I guess it's a pressure to all the children, at least in my family,
Hmm.
to do well. So I mean I can't speak for all Chinese Indonesian family, but at least in my family and a few others that I do know, there's always pressure for the kids to do well in life.
Yeah. Well, it's not a bad thing. I guess there just has to be, um, uh, maybe
Like
that's
a good way
yeah,
of
yeah,
achieving,
there's
I guess. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has to be healthy too, I think, right?
Yes, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Um, so I've been reading more and more books about or where the female protagonist she's not only struggling with external challenges, but she's also challenged by her own body in a sense. What made you decide on type 1 diabetes for Ellie?
So this actually came from my family's personal experience. Excuse me. So back in September 2020, during COVID,
Mm,
uh, my son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
mm,
And in the aftermath, during the weeks and months that followed, we got a lot of curious, clueless questions from people, from friends and
mhm.
family. They're all good, they all meant well. But it dawned on me that there's not that many that people know about the condition,
Yeah.
and because there's also type 2 diabetes, so
Mm,
people are often you know wondering what's the difference between the two. So I thought maybe if I gave my character the same condition, hopefully I can help, maybe raise a tiny bit of awareness about what it
yeah.
is. I'm not an expert. I'm just a parent, but
Yeah.
what was in the story is something that is based on my own family's
Mhm.
experience. So yeah, so that's what I hoped from, giving the character type 1 diabetes.
Well, I learned a lot more than I knew. I knew a little, just a smidge. So I
Yeah.
learned a lot more. So you definitely, I think, mission accomplished on bringing more awareness about diabetes. And I think you're living it, so I think in a sense you are an expert. You might not be a medical expert on it, but you are an expert on it because you're absolutely living it. And if you're living it in the detail, which you probably are, that you went into on the book, yeah, that's a lifelong, I don't want to say struggle, because Ellie, obviously, she had it down. She knew what she needed to do, and it didn't stop her from doing anything. So, yeah, I thought it was great. Is there anything that you want to dispel for people about diabetes that maybe they have the wrong thought about it?
Um, I guess I've had people say to my son, you can't eat that. It's, it's sweet. You're diabetic. So I just wanted to, I guess they can, type 1 diabetes people, they can eat or drink or do anything they want. It's not a condition that limits their life,
Hmm.
which is something that we try to instill in my son as well. So it doesn't stop him from being or doing whatever he wants, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
just has to adjust his insulin based on what he's doing,
Yeah, he
right?
just has
Yeah.
to, work his way, around whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that I caught on, and I thought that might be what you would say, but that's great too, what you said, is that you don't get diabetes by eating a lot of sweets.
Oh my God, yes, yes. We've had that questions, quite a few questions of that nature when he was first diagnosed. So yeah, it's interesting, how little, not little, I guess how not many people knew about it. Not at least
Hmm.
in my circle of friends and people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you don't, if you, like you say, if you don't have somebody in your family or a friend or whatever, it's like you know enough to be dangerous, but you don't know all there is to know about it. And so those little things,
Yeah.
and you might hear something here and there and just kind of take it for gospel. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was great. It was a wonderful way to, and you did it in ways that was not kind of like preachy or over too much information or anything like that. It
Oh, good. Good.
wove into the story really well. Yeah, I thought you did a great
Yeah.
job with that.
I was
Yeah,
afraid of that. I was afraid of it being seen as too, too lectury or too
yeah.
preachy. But yeah, thank you for saying that.
No, 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 absolutely not. So, one of the things that I like to dive into on this show is finding the story's undercurrent with the author. It's that second beating heart of the story that flows beneath the lover's journey, and it tends to help propel the story forward. I don't know if diabetes might be one, the whole diabetes awareness and what Ellie's dealing with through her life. That might be an undercurrent. I don't know if there's something else that you can think of that might have been an undercurrent um, in the story.
Um, I guess it's the theme of finding your own self and
Mm,
choosing yourself and your own happiness over what people expect from you. I think, at least for me personally, there could be a lot of expectation placed on you by your friends, your family, or your loved ones.
mhm,
And often growing up with those, you know, other people's hopes and expectation can be a burden. So I guess this is about a story about finding oneself and choosing what you want to do, choosing your own happiness
mhm,
outside of what other people wants for you.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great one. Yeah, yeah. What are romance readers tend to like tropes in their books, and what are two or three tropes that readers could look forward to while reading Salty?
Um, yeah. I think I piled on a few in the book,
Yeah,
but there's definitely fake dating. Because, like I said, Ellie had a few challenges when she wanted to start her bakery,
yeah.
and the only person that can help her is her longtime crush,
And he
who
is, what's
happened to
his name?
be
What's his name?
Alec.
There we go.
Yeah, Alec. Yeah, and but in order to help her, he needs something from her as well. So they agreed to fake dating. And he's also her brother's best friend. So that's the second trope.
Yeah.
And the third one, I guess they started off as enemies. And then because of a thing that happened in the past that Ellie still couldn't quite forgive him for. So that's the
Hmm.
third trope, enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's quite a few in there.
You did. You did a yeah, you piled on the tropes. I thought it was great, and it all worked out fabulously. So no, it was
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Yeah, yeah. And if, I think there's Second Chance,
Yep,
Grumpy Sunshine, Only
yep.
One Bed.
There's one bed. Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot
I
of them. It
did
was
put a
great.
few. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. What romance book have you read recently that you'd recommend, and maybe why?
I have just finished BK Borison's latest book, First Time Caller.
Okay.
It was really good. Still haven't moved on from it. I would recommend it very, very highly.
Okay.
It's got the right amount of swoon and charm and pining, and the main character is a mechanic, which is adorable. Um, so yeah, that is something that I would highly recommend to everyone
Okay.
who loves romance.
All right, great. Now we love to give recommendations in the show notes, so I appreciate that. Thanks so much. What is your favorite thing to do when you're not writing?
So apart from reading,
Yes, yes.
I guess
We got
spending
to take
time.
reading
Yep,
out of there too. Yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah.
I guess spending time with my kids.
Yeah,
So they are going to their preteens now. So they've been, they're sort of not moving away, but they're spending a lot more time with their friends than their,
friends. Yeah.
parents. So whenever I can, you know, spend a bit of time with them, that is, yeah, I enjoy that.
And if you don't want to share, that's fine. Is there something that you do with them that all of you enjoy doing, like go hiking or favorite movie or something like that?
Yeah, movies, I guess.
Okay.
Not a big movie family, but we do watch quite a bit. So we're a fan of Marvel in the
Oh,
family. So
me too. Yeah.
oh
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
love it. So we've just gone and watched the newest the Thunderbolts,
Okay.
and
Okay.
they
Yeah,
loved
yeah.
it. So yeah, we do watch a lot of movies
Okay.
together.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice. Yeah, and those are good ones too.
yeah,
Those are nice and they're just fun. They're just good fun.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
All right. Well, before we go, can you give us a hint about what's coming up next? Do you have any exciting projects you can talk about, or is there a sequel to this, or what can you tell us?
Yeah, so I've turned in my edits for book two to my
Okay.
editor, and that is based on so that's going to follow two characters from the first book.
Okay.
Some reviews that I saw online on socials, they've guessed already sort of which one it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but yeah, so it'll be a story following two characters from the first book.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
so I
So
think it's
continues.
due for publication in May next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, so that's what I'm working on.
Oh, so how'd the sophomore book go? Was it as hard as
It's
everybody says?
yes, actually, yes, it is.
Okay.
How did you find it? I mean, for me, it was quite hard. I mean, I know what I wanted to write, but it's just not as flowy as the first one, I guess, if you can say that.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about you? What did you find?
Yeah, I had a hard time with the second one too. I think I spent so much time thinking about the first one and working on the first one and not really having a deadline with the first one. The second one, I had to, I basically provided a paragraph to my editor and I had to build a story from a paragraph and within a finite amount of time. So yeah, it was a little tough.
Yeah, yeah, exactly what you said. I think we spent a lot of time, focusing on the first one, and then this one is just not neglected, but it's a bit pushed to the back.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, folks, when this episode airs, Salty, Spiced, and a Little Bit Nice will be out, so be sure to order your copy today. You can check out Cynthia's website at cynthiatimoti.com. What social media outlets are you most active on, Cynthia?
Instagram, I think. So
Instagram.
my handle is just at Cynthia Timoti.
Okay, nice and easy. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Australia. Really appreciate you spending some time with me and talking about this fabulous new book.
Thank you so much for having me, Tracy. It's a pleasure.
All all right. You take care. Many thanks to
Thanks.
everyone listening. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Undercurrents of Romance. You can find more information about the show at tracydevlyn.com/podcast. Undercurrents of Romance is a proud member of the Authors on the Air Global Radio Network. I'll be back soon with another great romantic read. In the meantime, enjoy the adventure, everyone.